Provoking reaction. Hi, I'm Brian Pombo. Welcome back to Brian J. Pombo Live. I have two of my friends here. This is the devil, and this is the monster from Monty Python and the Holy Grail. They're just helping me put together a little thumbnail, what we call a thumbnail for YouTube. Thank you, guys. They're helping me put together a thumbnail for YouTube. What the thumbnail is it's that picture that shows up. We use it on YouTube and a couple other places. It's the picture that shows up that kind of gets somebody to click on the video. I do it often. I'll pose in the very beginning in order to invoke a reaction. And the whole idea is to get somebody to click over it. Same thing's true of a lot of the titles that I use. It's in order to get somebody to click on it. It's oftentimes, regardless of all my hard work, it's the ones that I would never in a million years think would cause the most stir that really do get the most amount of reaction, which is interesting. And this concept of reaction is present throughout all of humanity. And it's present throughout, if it's present throughout humanity and it's all of psychology, then it's certainly present within marketing. And that's what you got to understand. If you understand people, if you understand even the most basic concepts of behavioral psychology, then you're understanding a huge piece of business. And if you're understanding business, you're understanding marketing, because marketing is the speaking to of people. And if you understand sales, then you understand a huge piece of marketing, because all of sales, especially one-on-one sales, you're dealing with human psychology. And all these things all tie back together. So the reaction is a very common thing. It's used throughout. In fact, if you think about it, when it comes to sales, oftentimes some of the most trickiest, weirdest, meanest things that salespeople do are to invoke a reaction in the person that's looking to purchase. And if they can do that, they know that they've got a little bit of a tie coming back. And this all goes back to the Hegelian Dialectic that we spoke about last month. I've got that little drawing that I did for you where it's thesis, antithesis, synthesis. So the thesis is the provoking, the provoking concept, the provoking idea, the provoking sentence. The antithesis, or an action, it could be an action also. The antithesis is the opposing reaction, specifically emotional. It's an emotional reaction to the initial concept. And then there becomes a synthesis, which is, in a sense, it's the original concept coming back in a different form and winning in the end. And even those who reacted have to give in to it because they've spent all their energy fighting it, and now they're stuck to it. It's a very strange psychological process that we talked in that other video, but you have to understand the reaction. If you can get your mind around the reaction, then you could get your mind around how everything works. The initial reaction doesn't have to be a huge emotional thing. Once again, these things can be used for the forces of good or for evil, but it is present within all human interaction, both on the macro level and on the micro level. So whether it's a taunting situation on the schoolyard grounds, or whether we're talking about a back and forth fight for power next to the water cooler at work, or if we're talking about nation against nation, it's the same thing. One side is attempting to provoke a reaction. If they get a strong enough emotional reaction, they win. It's just guaranteed. They will win unless they're getting each side to react back and forth. And we've talked about all the politicians that have this amazing power. One of the most obvious and most recent examples, love him or hate him, is Donald Trump. Whether he knows he's doing it or not, he is able to provoke a reaction in the people who are opposed to him at any given time on any different level. So originally in the primary of 2016, he was able to provoke a reaction from the conservative wing of the party. Later on, he was able to provoke a reaction from the most liberal people in the United States. Same concept, exact same game happening. The person who reacts the least emotionally wins. The person who can keep from reacting wins. But the person that's provoking is always on offense, to use a sports term. They're on offense, the other side's on defense. And the person on defense, the only way they can get back onto offense is to not react to the provoking. But I'm not going to go too deep on that, okay? You just have to understand that the reaction process, it happens in the man-woman relationship, it happens everywhere. And that reaction, if you know that it's there, you can keep from it affecting you, while at the same time you can use it to both defeat enemies and to garner support. And sometimes you have to use things that provoke to get attention in marketing and in business. And I'm going to show a couple different examples in the next handful of videos. And specifically, I'm going to delve deep into sports. And the next video, in fact, we're going to talk about trash talking. Now, this all came about from a conversation that I was having with my friend Brad. And he brought up this one little example, and it blew up in my mind into 3 different videos. So tomorrow we're going to be talking about trash talking. In the 3rd video, we're going to complete it with the original idea that Brad gave me, which I know you're going to get a kick out of. So stay tuned. Come back tomorrow. Go check out my book, 9 Ways to Amazon-Proof Your Business. If you really want to overcome competition where they're standing, this is a book of strategies that you can use, and it will never get old. 9 Ways to Amazon-Proof Your Business. Get a free copy at amazonproofbook.com. You have a great night. Get out there and let the magic happen.